This is Rover Red. Welcome to the Otherwhere. If you would like to help Rover Red survive her perilous journey, please go to roverredpodcast.com/vote. You could submit your suggestions, vote on what Rover Red does next, or join the Rover Council. The Rover Council is free to join, and they receive access to 3 unpublished prequel episodes of Rover Red, as well as special polls hidden on secret, password-protected pages. They act as Rover Red's collective unconscious. Rover Red is completely reader-guided, so make your decisions carefully.
Jonah?
The room Leah stepped into was unlike anything she'd imagined. Black tile stretched from the door to the thrones that Jolene and her brother sat upon. The walls were covered in that same black tile as well. Jolene's throne was almost 3 feet higher than Jonah's. Something that appeared oily and black covered his eyes and ears. "Welcome to the water room," Jolene said.
What did you do to him?
"Me?" Jolene asked, placing a single finger on her chest. "Why would you assume that I would do anything to the speaker?"
What's covering his eyes and ears?
"Have you taken a peek at what's below you?" Leah looked down, realizing that the tile on the floor wasn't tile after all, but glass. Dark shapes moved below her, deep below her. Some of the shapes looked to be as large as the room itself. Leah shook her head.
No, you're not going to distract me with any of your tricks. What did you do to him?
"Tricks?" Jolene asked. A hurt look crossed her face. "I would never trick you, Leah. Double-cross, sure. Stab you in the back. Or the front, for that matter. But trick you? No. No, I don't think so. Those of conquest leave the tricks for the witches of death. We deal in technology and blades rather than shades and dark beings."
You know what I meant.
"No," Jolene said. "I only know what I hear."
Yet there's my brother sitting next to you. How do you explain that?
Jolene shrugged. "Some deals work better if you cut out the middleman. Or woman."
You're talking about Ricketts.
"I am," Jolene said. "I'm also talking about your intrepid Lieutenant Slade."
So you were the one that kidnapped Jonah.
"Of course," Jolene said. "Conquest is the only province that can use mule robotic units."
Why did you leave that necklace, though?
Jolene smiled. "Because I wanted Crane and Ricketts to know that it was me that was stabbing them in the back."
You killed my parents.
Jolene snorted. "No, dear. I kidnapped your brother, but I didn't destroy your compound. I would talk to your fearless leader about that one." "Slade," Jolene said. "Talk to Slade. Your exalted Rover Fortress likes to build compounds with the skeleton of explosives, just in case the natives ever get too restless and want to take a compound for themselves."
I don't believe that. The Rover Fortress wouldn't do that. Right, Evie?
"I am unaware of any explosives built into the Rover compound skeletons." Jolene laughed. "Speaking of Slade," she said, "do you know where he is right now?"
Probably out in the Otherwhere on his way here.
Jolene's lips curled into a smile that she held a moment too long. "Oh, I'd wager he's a fair bit closer than that."
Where is... No. What did you do to Jonah?
Jolene rolled her eyes and sighed. "I didn't do anything to him. All I did was help him hone his power. That," Jolene waved her finger at the oily black spots on his face, disgusted, "is something he did all on his own. Or the Silt did. I'm not entirely sure how it all works, this being the first speaker I've had in my possession."
He's not yours.
Resting her chin on a finger, Jolene cocked her head to the side. "Says who?"
Says me.
3 of the tiles in front of Leah opened like trap doors, splashing water onto the surrounding area.
I can swim, you know.
Jolene nodded, very understanding. Of course you can. But can you survive being eaten and digested? See, when you control the speaker, you control the silt, refined and wild. Silt poured out of the tile opening, forming a thick tentacle shaped like a spear, the sharp end pointed at Leah's stomach. Leah, the Rover Council has made a decision on what you should do next.
Kinda busy.
They have decided that you should stay in Conquest and secretly work with Deadlife to overthrow Jolene, but under the condition that you'll only help if they try their best to free Jonah from Jolene.
Fine.
Behind the weaving tentacle, the woman who had escorted Leah to the water room approached Jolene's throne. Leah could just barely hear Jolene say the words, "Play it." After a moment passed, Jolene tapped her chin, and the silt tentacle dissolved back into the open tiles before they were closed. So, Leah, Rover Red, would you like to share with everyone?
No. Jonah is a person. You can't share him.
I meant that cute little Rover Council message you just received. Leah, she shouldn't be able to intercept Rover Council messages.
Tell her that.
Fine, Jolene said. I'll share it with everyone. The Rover Council just made the decision that you should stay in Conquest and secretly work with Deadlife to overthrow Jolene, but under the condition that you'll only help if they try their best to free Jonah from Jolene. This is supposed to be impossible, Leah.
Apparently it's not.
Jolene rolled her eyes. I intercept all sorts of messages from the Rover Council. Just last week, a piece of propaganda from the Rover Council made its way into my possession, much like your brother.
The Rover Council makes propaganda?
Occasionally, Jolene said, cheeks filling with color. It was a tawdry story involving myself and Ricketts that placed me in a compromising position. Multiple, really. It was very entertaining, but also not true. Jolene took a moment before speaking again. And my wife did not find it amusing either, but let's get back to the point. Deadlife.
Look, can I just have my brother back?
Jolene shook her head, false sadness crinkling the corners of her eyes. Oh, I'm afraid we can't do that now. You'll just run off with him before you get a chance to help Deadlife, and we wouldn't want you to miss your chance to... We wouldn't want you to miss your chance to help those poor... We wouldn't want you to miss your chance to help those poor, poor children.
What does she know that we don't, Evie?
I am unsure, but it appears as though Deadlife is not who you thought they were.
Yeah, no silt.
Sasha, Jolene asked the woman standing next to her, did you want to address this? Sasha shook her head no, and Jolene shrugged. That's fine. Bring them in. Sasha left Jolene's throne to open a side door. Children began marching in. Painted onto every child's face was a red heart shape on its side with streaks that ran down below each child's chin.
Evie?
This is Deadlife, Leah. Though I am unsure of what Deadlife is besides a group of children with face paint.
What is Deadlife really?
What does your vaunted Book of Rover define it as? Jolene asked.
Deadlife is a splinter group operating within the Conquest citizenry to bring about the open exchange of silt technology to the other provinces.
That's correct, Jolene said.
Okay, but...
Leah made eye contact with one of the members of Deadlife. He grinned back at her.
Him! That one right there told me that Deadlife was something different.
Jolene's eyes gazed coolly upon the boy. Step forward, she said. The boy complied. What is your name, boy? Jolene asked. Romulus, he answered. Explain yourself, Jolene said. Just as the boy opened his mouth to do just that, Sasha cut him off. Romulus did nothing wrong. I instructed him to lie to the Rover. Jolene motioned to the door Leah had come through. He was a part of... that? Sasha nodded, and Jolene began to laugh in amusement before addressing Leah again. Do you know what our creed is, Rover Red?
Cloaked in shadow.
Yes, Jolene said, nodding in mock seriousness. And do you know what that means? What it really means?
No.
It means that you should probably listen to yourself instead of allowing yourself to be swayed so easily by the words of others.
Just tell me what dead life is.
Fine, Jolene rolled her eyes. We'll do it your way. The completely uninteresting way.
Good.
Jolene snorted at that. Your little book was correct about dead life, although vague. Dead life is the military wing of conquest. They bring about this quote-unquote open exchange of silt via conquering and assimilating land and cultures before converting those lands and cultures to the conquest way of life, thus spreading silt technology.
You control them?
Me? Jolene asked. Silt no. Do you even know what a splinter group is, Rover Red?
Not really.
Of course you don't. Jolene sighed and continued. Dead life works strictly at the behest of the Conquest Emperor, who instructs them from back in the capital. Local leaders are allowed to govern their regions however they see fit, but they must allow a sizable contingent of Dead Life soldiers to occupy those same regions, so the Emperor has total overriding control.
So the Emperor told Romulus to lie to me?
No, Leah. Based on the interaction we've seen take place, Sasha did.
Why would Sasha have Romulus set me up?
Jolene nodded. Yes, that is a wonderful question. Why would you do such a thing, Sasha? Sasha gestured to the door behind Leah. I wanted to get them both here at the same time. This was how I accomplished that. Jolene looked closer at Sasha, her eyes narrowing as she sized the woman up. Jolene said 3 words, but this time the words held respect, as well as a healthy dose of distrust, cloaked in shadow. Sasha bowed to Jolene, murmuring back those same words.
What's on the other side of that door?
Jolene and Sasha flicked their eyes over to Leah. When Jolene answered, joy edged each and every word. That's where Lieutenant Slade is. Hello, loyal listener. Would you like to continue receiving these transmissions from the Otherwhere? Do you enjoy them? Hopefully, we can keep bringing them to you. If you would like to ensure that these transmissions arrive at your ears in a prompt manner, please visit roverredpodcast.com/support. When you support Rover Red, you'll gain access to the Project Nightlight feed, which follows Slade as he... all the way to... when he... hopefully Leah survives. Goodbye.
Lieutenant Slade is on the other side of that door? Right now?
Jolene shrugged. Yeah. Leah, we need to escape. If they hand you over to Slade, he will execute you.
That's not going to happen.
What do you mean?
They aren't going to hand me over to Slade.
Why not?
The Rover Council had you read me the Book of Rover for a reason, Evie. So I would know how to negotiate with Conquest. So I would be prepared for this moment. I even knew about Dead Life.
I remain unconvinced. You knew what the Book of Rover said Dead Life was, but you still believed the boy.
Yeah, I thought he needed help. We needed to help him. I don't really care that he lied because he did so at the urging of Sasha. This is one more lesson. The Book of Rover might be vague, but it is correct.
You would attempt to help him again? Even if you knew that he was lying?
I'm going to continue to help them now, Evie. All of them. Do you see what's in front of us?
An army.
An army of children. An army of children being led by an emperor hiding back in the Conquest capital like a coward.
I still do not understand how you plan to help Dead Life.
By showing them that you can stand up to those in power and win.
Leah, I'm not sure what you're planning, but I believe it may be inadvisable.
Sometimes we have to leave behind the things most important to us to change the world.
Leah, please reconsider—
Still that. We had a deal, Jolene.
Leah, this is a bad idea. Jolene nodded her head as she said, Yes, yes. Deliver the golden apple in exchange for information on Evie in the Rover Fortress.
I want to change the deal. I want Jonah instead.
Jolene stared at Leah for a long moment, unsure if the girl was serious or not.
I want my brother.
You can't have him, Jolene answered.
What if I gave you something else?
Jolene rolled her eyes. What more is there that you could give me?
You're aware of the prophecy, correct?
Oh yes, Jolene said. The magical prophecy that Speaker Prime spread across Apocalypse. A nice fairy tale for Rover children to think about at night instead of silt, but otherwise useless.
I'm sure you already know the shard the Rover Fortress has.
Yes, yes. Jolene spun her fingers at Leah in impatience. A brother and sister, both speakers of natural and unnatural origin, will come together to find... ... Nonsense for dreamers. All of it.
Jonah isn't your son. You lied about that.
Get to the point, Jolene said.
He's my brother.
Okay, Jolene sighed.
He's a speaker of natural origin. Wouldn't you agree?
Leah, do not do this. Do not let her... Yes, Jolene said. He's come in quite handy already.
Do you know who I am?
Is this going somewhere? Asked Jolene.
Answer the question.
Your name is Leah. You're Rover Red. You are an amazing annoyance. A waste of time. A scared little girl all alone in Apocalypse. You couldn't even find...
Nightshade. To my shoulder.
Nightshade slithered out from the neck of Leah's suit, reformed on her shoulder, and licked at her paw, her black eyes fixed on Jolene's hanging jaw.
Good girl. Looks like you might want to add an entry to that list of yours.
Jolene couldn't speak.
Did you need help? Let me help. Leah, speaker of unnatural origin.
Jolene attempted to respond, but no words came out. The assembled children of Deadlife stared at Nightshade and Leah. Leah, do you have a plan?
Yeah, Evie, I do. Jolene, do I have your attention?
Jolene nodded.
Good. I'm assuming you would like the whole of famine under your control?
Jolene nodded again.
Quality. I will go to the famine capital, use my powers as the unnatural speaker, and sack it for you.
Jolene licked her lips. In exchange for your brother?
No.
Jolene's head rocked back at this.
Here are the conditions. 1. You're going to give me one of those turbines used in the arena so I can travel to the famine capital. 2. You're going to bring Slade in here, have him remove the Rover Red designation from my head, and send him off to find the other shards of the prophecy. I'll tell you where when I leave.
Jolene swallowed. What do you want in exchange for this?
I want you to release Deadlife.
The children gathered before Jolene looked at one another, confused by the events taking place. Jolene shrugged. They aren't mine to release, but I'll tell both you and them that I'm releasing them.
That's fine.
Leah, this is a terrible deal.
Shut up, Evie. Do we have a deal, Jolene?
Jolene nodded. Her eyes narrowed. Yes. You do understand that this deal does not include me releasing your brother, correct? Leah nodded.
I understand. Before I leave, though, I want to spend some time with him.
Jolene chewed on the inside of her cheek before nodding. Fine.
Fine.
Jolene turned to Sasha. Bring in Slade.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Jolene reacted as if slapped. What do you mean? She barked.
Our deal needs to be sealed.
Jolene looked like she wanted to scream at Leah, but channeled that scream into a short, clipped laugh. So you've been reading the Book of Rover?
I have.
We can seal this before you leave, Jolene offered.
I don't think so. We'll seal this immediately after I speak to my brother.
Jolene sneered. Sasha, escort Leah to the speaker's chambers. He'll be staying here while I talk to Slade. Then I'll send him on to talk with Rover Red. Sasha motioned Leah forward. Leah looked around her brother's chambers. She never imagined anything so opulent could exist. Every surface shone with light except for the soft floor she stood upon.
You like that pillow? Read it, Evie.
Leah, the shards are the key. This is bigger than just you and Jonah. Find the shards, and you'll find the answers. Jonathan.
Loud and clear, Jonathan. Loud and clear.
What is your plan, Leah?
We'll get to that, but first I want to send a message to the Rover Council. Ask them where I should send Slade. Should I just blindly send him to a province? Should I send him on a specific mission? What should I do?
Is there anything else before I send the message?
Yes. Let them know I'm not going to famine at all, but to the conquest capital.
Leah. Why?
The Emperor and I have a few things we need to discuss. This was Rover Red. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Your suggestions and votes will determine Leah's future in the Otherwhere. That website, one last time, is roverredpodcast.com/vote. Vote wisely. Rover Red was produced by Bloodworth Creative, starring Madison Martin as Leah, and written by Christopher Bloodworth. If you enjoyed Rover Red, please rate and especially review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found us. Reviews are important because they keep us on the charts where people can find our show. Rover Red is supported by you, our listeners. For more information, visit our website and click on Support Rover Red in the upper right-hand corner. We couldn't make Rover Red without you. Thank you so much for listening.